When things are happening fast and in real time, especially bad things, crimes in progress, that type of thing, don't get too hung up on the ultra details of a description. Hi, this is Larry Kaye with ShadowAnyone.com and the creator of the Investigator's Ultimate Guide series, which is premium private investigator training from someone who's been there and done that. As private investigators, this isn't too much of a problem for us in real time because frequently it's unusual that we capture crimes in progress, that type of thing. It happens. For my brothers and sisters in security, this happens a lot, really, where something happens and something's put out over the radio, or you're given a phone call from your supervisor, or be on the lookout, a BOLO, that type of thing, and you'll get a certain description. The thing you want to keep in mind is frequently those descriptions are a little bit off. I'll give you an example from real life. For me, it was a time I was working and I had access to remote cameras, and part of my job was to use those cameras for discovering crime and monitoring the police radio. And a call goes out that one of those dollar type stores, and I don't remember which one, there's a variety of them, but it was robbed at knife point. Now, those stores get picked over pretty good. They're getting stolen from constantly, all day, every day. But this one kind of went up as a robbery, and the reason was three people had tried to take some merchandise. The clerk at the store had confronted them. One of the people pulled a knife and said, "We're leaving," or words to that effect, and they took the merchandise and left. So the employee, of course, immediately calls the police. They put out a description, and here's what went out: that it was three people. One was a man dressed like a woman who had pulled a knife on the clerk, and they got into a Nissan Altima Maxima with dealer tags on it. Okay, there's no such thing as a Nissan Altima Maxima, and dealer tags are those metal temporary type tags that dealers will put on a car just when you're taking a test drive. Now, I don't put it past any bad guy from borrowing a car from a car lot, taking out a test drive, and doing crime. But that's the description we had. Pretty soon afterwards, one of the officers on the precinct said, I know who this is. This man dressed as a woman is actually a prostitute, and gave the name so the other officers would know who they're looking for. Well, as soon as I hear this, I think, okay, well, I know where the hooker strolls are. So I start looking around on the different cameras. And pretty quickly, 2, 3 corners in, I say, you know what, this is unlikely, but I had to take the shot. And really, if you think about it, they just got paid. They just got a payday from stealing things. When you get paid, the first thing you do is not rush off and go to work. You go out and you have a party. Hopefully you're tucking money away for retirement. But at any rate, you don't rush off to work when you get paid. And of course, these guys didn't either. Men and women in this case, the three of them. But I didn't find them on the corners. So I started looking other places, almost not even for them. When at this very typical dope lot where people sit around and sell and smoke dope and drink all day, I could see the car pull up, and it was a white Nissan Maxima, I believe, and but it had not a dealer tag in it, but a temporary tag. So not the metal tag that dealers put on for test drives, but a temporary tag, those paper tags that are issued when you first buy a car so you can drive them for 30 days or whatnot. Two people get out of the car. I really can't tell if this is right or not. There's not a man wearing a dress, that's for sure. But it was close. It was sort of in the vicinity. It was illegal activity. So I called the police department into the radio room, and I told them what I had. I had this Nissan Maxima. It had a temporary tag. I gave them the tag number. Told them there were at least two people involved. There might be someone else in the back. I couldn't tell for sure. I said, it's not anything I'm concerned about, but if you guys want it, there it is. I hung up. Within a few minutes, 3 police cruisers come up, and I'm at this point really hoping that I didn't send them on a wild goose chase, that I made the right call on this, because otherwise it's just very awkward and uncomfortable. Now, it's all dope over there. Everybody there knows the cops. The cops know all those people, so it's not offensive that the police would show up, but 3 cruisers at the same time in a felony stop type situation, yeah, that's a little bit unusual there. It was really only a matter of moments before they brought the driver and the passenger back, and out of the back seat of the car, they pull a man in a dress. And of course, right away, I knew they had the right car, and it unfolded that way as well. So they were very quickly able to make an arrest on this armed robber. Now, there's nothing special that I did about this, except, they had the merchandise on them. He still had the knife on him. That kind of stuff is nice. For a variety of reasons. Everybody goes to jail right on the spot. Whereas if this case had been passed to a detective, a police detective, then they would have made the case differently and tried to get witness statements. There wouldn't have been that physical evidence in hindsight. So it came together really well. It would have come together probably even without me. But this was just a nice, quick, clean conclusion to that crime. The point is, if I had been hung up, if I had said, they said dealer tag and that's a temporary tag, I don't think this is it, would have missed out on that nice triple arrest there, would have been gone. Similarly, think about this, out over the air goes a call for the police. They see a man with a gun in a classic green Buick with fancy high-class rims. Well, you're 2-3 blocks away, maybe even 5 blocks away, and you see a classic green Oldsmobile with fancy high-class rims pull up, and the guy gets out. And again, dope corner, that type of thing. Don't dismiss it. Well, they said Oldsmobile and this is a Buick, or vice versa, whatever it is. That's really close. The proximity is right. It's a corner where there are you commonly have felonies and CCWs, carrying concealed weapon charges. If it's your job, if you're inclined to, call the police, let them know. Now, notice I'm not saying anything about getting involved yourself. I mean, yes, I have written the book, How to Make a Citizen's Arrest, and there are circumstances where you may feel compelled to do that. Neither one of these circumstances, I mean, I was off-site. Neither one of these circumstances, though I could have been sitting across the street, I would never, ever try to make a citizen's arrest under those conditions. Not even for danger or anything else. It's just so completely unnecessary. You pull out your phone, you call the cops. It's super easy. The key takeaway, though, don't get so hung up on a description that you say, no, that's not the one. Consider in your mind if that's the one. And if you think it might be, call the police. Tell them, I don't need an officer to respond. This is not a problem for me, but I wanted to let you know about this. If you've had some situations like this, I would love to hear about them. Drop them in the comments. And if you have suggestions on how to handle this type of thing, that's the way I did it. Again, remotely. I've handled some things up close differently, actually making those citizen arrests myself. That's very, very unusual. But if you have any comments or input on this, please drop in the comments. I would love to hear what you have to say about this. In the meantime, this is Larry Kaye with ShadowAnyone.com. Remember, do the right thing, even if it's the hard thing.